The Mouse Comes to Dinner came out on May 5th, 1945, the day before. Tom is expecting a visit from Toots and wants everything to be perfect for dinner. Jerry interferes with the cat's romantic dinner plans, creating chaos in the dining room. The mouse causes embarrassing situations for Tom in front of his lady friend, ruining the sophisticated atmosphere the cat tried to create. Don't remember seeing this one until the Golden came out, and I just stopped watching it with my son. Mouse in Manhattan was released on July 7th, 1945. Jerry decides to leave Tom in the countryside and seek excitement in New York City. The cartoon follows the mouse's adventures in Manhattan, where he experiences the glamour and dangers of city life. Despite the initial excitement, Jerry encounters various urban hazards and eventually realizes that home wasn't so bad after all. Now, the interesting thing for me is the end. Here, Jerry runs up the road to the bridge. Now, if you know the entrance to the George Washington Bridge here, that's basically what it looks like coming from the northern part of Manhattan. So he runs across the bridge to home. Now, since he goes across the bridge, he must live in New Jersey. And for him to be at an RFD, it has to be out in Warren, Hunterdon, Morris, or Middlesex County. It's a little similar to a thing in the opening of the old show, That Girl. The opening of season 2 and on has Anne heading into New York City. But in the shot here, the road to the right is the eastern extension of the New Jersey Turnpike, right by Snake Hill, that big rock over there. Over to the left is the Pulaski Skyway, which connects Jersey City to Newark via routes 1 and 9. So this is actually a train leaving Secaucus Junction heading to Newark. Not exactly what they intended. Anyway, the point is whoever drew those scenes actually knew how that really looked. It's the same thing that will happen in a later cartoon with a more exotic backdrop. T for Two came out on July 21st, 1945. This time the story is by a bit of a surprising name, Pinto Colvig. Yes, Goofy himself. Tom is playing golf and Jerry interferes with his game. The mouse uses a golf course setting to torment the cat, moving his ball, disrupting his swings, and causing Tom to have an increasingly frustrating golf game. This one features creative uses of golf equipment in the chase sequences, likely influencing later cartoons with Bugs Bunny and Woody Woodpecker. This is another one I definitely remember from TV. Now, at this point, Tom and Jerry were becoming so popular, MGM decided to do a little experiment. One of their big releases in 1945 was the musical Anchors Aweigh with Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra. The two are sailors on shore leave, and they get involved with turning a movie extra into a big star. The film was very successful, and the duo teamed up for 2 future films. Take Me Out to the Ball Game, with someone else we'll be seeing a little later on, and On the Town, which is not a sequel to this film, despite the two being sailors again. Now, one of the segments had Gene Kelly dancing with Jerry, who plays a sad king who needs to be cheered up, with a brief appearance by Tom. Now, MGM hadn't done many live action animation combinations, unlike Disney, who did it back in the 20s and then a few years later in the 40s until it reached its peak in the 60s. And Paramount and Warner's had done their share as well. This also wouldn't be a separate short, but part of the actual film. Based on the results, this worked brilliantly. Of course, it helps to have Gene Kelly be your dance partner. I mean, he even made that one scene in Xanadu better just by being in it. Flirty Birdy was released on September 22nd, 1945. An eagle swoops in and steals Jerry away from Tom for his own meal, so the cat has to come up with an interesting idea to try to get him back. The role reversal has Tom as the pursued rather than the pursuer. Bit of a difference there. The last one on the disc is Quiet Please, which came out December 22nd, 1945. Spike is sleeping and warns Tom that if he wakes him up, there'll be severe consequences. Jerry, knowing this, makes as much noise as possible during their chase, trying to wake Spike and get Tom into trouble. Therefore, the cat must chase the mouse in complete silence, leading to creative sight gags. Spike here was voiced by Billy Blitzer, and this was the 3rd win in a row for Best Animated Short for the duo. And again, the same old Metrocolor print. Okay, a few quick things before we wrap up. First, Boomerang switched Looney Tune times again. It's on from 6 to 7 p.m. and 9:30 to 10. Why? Don't know. Second Warner Archives animation release for February is the complete Loopy DeLoop on Blu-ray. Now, Loopy was the replacement for Mr. Magoo because UPA left Columbia to go onto TV. So Hanna-Barbera, working through Screen Gems, came in and made these for the theaters. They weren't very widely shown in New York. I actually remember first seeing them on Hatchie Malachi the few times I saw it when I was visiting my grandmother. Then I think a station in Philly played it. Maybe it was Channel 48. This did come out on a DVD set about 10 years ago. Didn't look that great. However, they did do the upgrade for MeTV Tunes, as you can see here, and they look really good. So they're filling in the holes of the Hanna-Barbera collection one thing at a time. Also, the link finally went live for Collector's Vault Volume 2. Please click on it and order through here, and it'll give us some credit. Finally, February star of the month on Turner Classic Movies is Bugs Bunny. Now, if you remember me mentioning back in episode 1, I had an idea for some episodes I wanted to do. What it was for Turner Classic Movies to do what I called the Essential Looney Tunes when they ran the Essentials on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. It would have been 4 nights in December for like 3 hours, do like around 100 to 110 of the Essential Looney Tunes. And here's like the first night, so maybe at some point I'll show you guys the other 3 nights of what I had in mind. So now here's the Star of the Month lineup, and actually it's more the Star of the first week only. They're running 3 cartoons before each movie between 8 p.m. and midnight for Monday through Friday, only the week of February 2nd. Here's the list, 45 of the 164 Golden Age cartoons here. As you can see, Apes of Wrath will be shown, so we'll see if it's the correct ratio there. Still need that on Blue. As I was working on the videos for this, we got word that Floyd Vivino passed away. For us here in New Jersey, he was known as Uncle Floyd. The Uncle Floyd show was a UHF staple in the 70s and 80s. It was a kid show with adult humor. It's a fun combination. I quick mentioned it back in the history of Looney Tunes. When we got WHT, we got that little box on top of the TV, changed it to channel 3, and then you switch the button and it would turn to channel 68. So I decided to take a look and see what it was like before the movie started, and it just played regular channel 68, and I turned on the Uncle Floyd show, and that's what it was there. The next day I told my buddy David, come on over, you gotta watch this, it's the coolest thing. He ended up actually getting a picture on the wall. You could see in this shot here, there's pictures on the walls the kids would draw and they would send in, and he'd put them on the wall. They also did a lot of public appearances, and there was a funny thing that my middle school computer teacher was actually his next door neighbor down the shore. So they had this signing at a record store, and she gave me a note to show him that she had actually talked to him about me. And so I go in and I hand Floyd the note, and he's like, oh, you're the kid in Sylvia's class. Oh, so that was a cool little thing. Outside of New Jersey, his biggest exposure was probably in a little film called Good Morning Vietnam. That's him right there. Much like the cartoons we watched, he was a big part of our growing up here. So Floyd, thanks for everything. Deep in the heart of Jersey.
Oh, the dumps in June ain't like perfume. Deep in the heart of Jersey. But it's my state, I think it's great. Deep in the heart of Jersey.
So that wraps up disc 1 through 1945. Next time, disc 2 will finish out the 40s. I'm John Hartar. Thanks for watching.